Hello, Play the Game family. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community. This episode is brought to you by the one and only G2 Paintball. If you are in Arizona or on the West Coast and soon to be nationally, be on the lookout for G2 training dates and be sure to sign up. They are a paintball athletics company designed to help you become the best paintball athlete imaginable by running you through all of the different moves and techniques that you need to know and you're going to be implementing on the paintball field. So that way when you get into the situations, the muscle memory is dialed in. You are also going to learn skills. You're going to learn tactics, and of course the agility, which is training to maximize your performance on and off the field. This stuff is used by myself and Marcelo, and we're pushing paintball players to become pro or just dominate in your division. Don't make excuses out there. Physical fitness is at an all-time high in paintball, and you cannot win paintball tournaments unless you are ready to go physically on Sunday when you're dead tired and you're ready to hold up that trophy with your friends and family. So you got to be prepared, and G2 will help you do that. Head on over to g2paintball.com. Also check out their Instagram at G2Paintball and give our man Victor Gamboa at Gamboa Limited, that's his Instagram, a follow and support him as well. It's owned and operated by Victor and Rusty, and they're doing tremendous things in the sport. We absolutely love G2, and we cannot wait for you to get involved. So have some fun with G2 Paintball. Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by Transfuse, the amazing premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula that is scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in their products. It is packed full of zinc, vitamin B6, vitamin C, sodium, potassium, and choline. And when you take this product, you are going to feel the difference on and off the field. I know that playing paintball with Transfuse has been a game changer, and it will be for you as well. If you head over to translabs.com, that's translabs.com, and use code PLAYTHEGAME, you will get 10% off. And if you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you get an additional 10% off. So you can take advantage of a total of 20% off on these amazing products. Also, head over to their Instagram at transfuse.official and check them out, and be on the lookout for their new flavors and brain booster nootropics that are coming soon. We absolutely love Transfuse from top to bottom, one of the best companies in the world with the greatest people running it. So head on over and become a part of their community and check them out.
What's going on, PTG fam? Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. This episode, we have Nikki McEvers, the head coach of the Los Angeles Ironmen and also the first professional female head coach in the National X-Ball League. What Nikki is doing both on and off the field is absolutely tremendous for the sport of paintball. She's doing things to bring eyes from all over the world, from different aspects of life, through YouTube, through different collaborations to the sport of paintball. And her analytical mind is really fantastic. It was really awesome to sit down and talk with her about her approach as a head coach and what she thinks it takes to lead one of the most legendary organizations of all time to the top of the ranks. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication. And the crowd starts chanting Harmon. Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game. He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
All right, PTG world, we have none other than Nikki McEvers and she is joining us as the coach of the Los Angeles Ironmen and a pioneer of paintball. Really, you've been in the game for a long time. We're honored to have you on the show. How you doing, Nikki?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, and thanks again for having me on the show. Can't wait to
Yeah,
have some stories, talk some stories, and yeah,
yeah. I
Yeah,
know
of
you've
course.
you've been in the game for 25 years, so you've been playing paintball for a long time.
yeah, definitely. Like starting out
Mhm.
like so young at 15 was crazy. I did take a little bit of a break, kind of,
Mhm.
when I started working more. Paintball is, it can be difficult every single weekend, flying in and out for practice, like you guys know.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Paintball for me, like, always came back, and there's always a place for it, no matter what
Mhm.
level you're at. So,
That's an
Yeah.
amazing thing about the
yeah.
game. You see that happening with so many different players. You see a lot of the old school players are coming back, and
Hmm.
no matter who leaves the game, they always come back. At some point, whether it's for fun or they want to come back and play competitively or go play 10 man, the game is just, it's always there, arms wide open. And
Yep.
it's a special thing we have for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the community, no matter where you go in the world, there's always going to be people, even randomly, you stop and talk to someone, you're like, yeah, I play a little paintball. Like, no way. My cousin and me, we go play paintball all the time. Where do you play at? And then
Yeah.
people are, it's a beautiful thing that it kind of reminds me of like a Tyler Durden underground type of,
Fight Club.
subculture. Yeah, where everybody kind of knows about the Fight Club, but they don't talk about the Fight Club. And it's just like this cool thing that's going
Mhm.
on. And we're super blessed to be a part of this paintball world and have people like you who are
Mhm.
spearheading, a lot of amazing things in pro paintball. And as a woman pro
Mhm.
paintball coach as well, you've accomplished so much. So we want to get the full
Mhm.
scoop
Yeah.
on your story and how you started out. But where are you reporting from, first of all?
I'm in Carlsbad, California, so it's up north a little bit from San Diego, not too far,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Shout out to the
Yep.
West Coast.
Love Carlsbad. It's
Yeah,
beautiful up there.
Yeah, I don't
absolutely.
Awesome
live
little town.
too far from the beach, so I have my morning walks to the beach. So it's nice. A lot of
Yeah,
Oh
we see
yeah.
meditation
you on the
time.
gram. You go for a nice little stroll,
Yep.
right there by the beach. It's a nice thing to be able to do here in San Diego. It's the beach is accessible to just about anyone. So,
Mhm.
it's nice to be able to go get some fresh air out there.
Man, I haven't seen a
Yeah.
beach in so long. It's brutal. I think we're going to come out towards San Diego and come see you
Mhm.
soon, Marsh. And I'm going to bring the fam out there and hang out.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yep. You
get
have
some
to.
beach vibes.
Mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Nikki, let's kind of dive in a little bit
Cool.
because I feel like your story, it was a lot of stuff that I didn't know, and
Mhm.
Fran has kind of dropped hints here and there, and then you told me a few things, but you really have been involved in paintball for a very long time. You guys, your family owns
Mhm.
an amazing field up in northern, or is that Central California?
I would consider it Northern California. It's woodland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything north of LA is pretty much Northern California, right?
Yeah,
So.
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
um,
But really, like, when the first time that I played, it was at a camping trip, just like a family camping trip. So
oh
we
wow.
had two auto mags.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, like, the little bit of the backstory is that I was born in New Mexico. My dad wanted to play paintball. He was in the military. My dad wanted to play paintball. We never really got to doing it. We moved to
Hmm.
California when I was 7. We went on a camping trip. My dad was like, all right, I'm going to buy some paintball guns, and we're just going to play, the four of us. Maybe we'll just play in the woods, just, like, have fun.
Hmm.
So that was really the first time that I played. And the first experience was kind of like a funny story, but we were playing just like catch the paintball with the gold panning pans. So it was like my mom and my dad shooting at me and my brother, and we were like
Yeah.
standing there with the gold panning pans trying to catch the paintballs. So it was
Nice.
like, yeah. So I mean,
Sounds like
that was
child abuse.
fun.
That's your
Whoa.
punishment.
Yeah. But it was just, I mean, like, we grew up like doing things together, all four of us. My brother's 5 years younger than I am. But like,
Yeah.
we were always either camping outside, going hiking, fishing, skiing, whatever it was.
Hmm.
So this is kind of a normal thing for us to be like out, just like figuring out and being creative and just like finding something to do together.
What year were you swatting the paintballs out of the air with gold mining pans? When was this?
That was like 90. Well, I was like 15, so that was like 97. Yeah,
Yeah,
like 97
awesome.
ish.
And your
Yeah.
dad was into the game prior to this, obviously,
Not
or
no, not really. Just kind of like had seen it probably in magazines and just wanted to
Mhm.
play, but just hadn't
Yeah.
had an opportunity to play at a field or anything. And
Mm.
then after that, we did finally find a field to play at, and that was Paintball Sam's. And that's like a
Mhm.
pretty,
Yeah,
well, at that time, pretty well known field to play at. It was owned by O. Pollock and Bob Moon. They were
that's
like,
right.
yeah, land sharks.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so we went there, and actually, my brother, at that time, like my brother and my dad would play. And then my mom, she stopped working weekends. So she went to go play. And then I was like, hey, I want to play. I'm like the only one not going and not playing. So I was like, I want to check it out. I'll go play as well. So then that's when we got another auto mag. So we had 3 auto mags and like this like spider and
nice.
or on a remote system. And I was like the
Yep.
one responsible for going to like the scuba store to get our scuba tank filled. So we had extra compressed air. That was like my Friday like chore I had to do. And
Nice.
then yeah, and then we play recreationally. We play capture the flag. Like we were always the one in the maze, like just kind of being competitive, but always like being together. So it was really like a special time for sure.
It
Yeah.
is such a special time, right?
Yeah.
We've had so many people on the show that have similar stories, whether it's with, their dad, their best friends, the relationships that you can build throughout paintball and the
Mhm.
ability to play with your family is one of the coolest things. I know for me, and same thing with Tyler, it was a huge building block, for him and his dad,
Mhm.
and me and my dad. It was hands down like the best bonding experience that we ever had.
Mhm.
Every weekend, that's what we were going to do. We were going out to the field, either Saturday or Sunday. It was, without question, we would start preparing on Friday and we'd go
Yeah.
out one of the days, and then, we'd spend a day like cleaning our gear, and it was just all paintball throughout the week.
Mhm.
Was all we talked about. And, yeah, it's really special. I love that,
Mhm.
all walks of life can play paintball and come together in this sport.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like to your point of just like cleaning your guns. I mean, my mom has, I can't even tell you how many, like after I think it was 2000, I got my first Angel for Christmas, and I would like sit in front of the fireplace and just like clean my gun. Well, I mean, and she's got so many pictures of me and my brother doing that. So that
That's
kind of
awesome.
like goes back to like a little bit of military life of my dad always cleaning his gun, but it was just like something that we could do, do together and learn how they
Yeah.
worked, and like so we could fix them while we were playing. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's good to know. It's good to you got to know how to work on the equipment, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure.
that's everything right there. And then being
It's
prepared
huge.
to it, it gets you ready for when you're out at the field if something goes
Mhm.
wrong. I think that maybe players don't even put enough emphasis on really understanding how all of their equipment works. It
Mhm.
should be a cornerstone so that if you get
Hmm.
into a predicament, you know how to work on it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and for me, it was like it's part of the excitement I know that I am not feeling like playing paintball when I don't want to clean my equipment,
Yeah.
and it's rare that that happens. But I know that when I'm really excited about, say, practice or just going out for a weekend,
Mhm.
I'm working on my gun. I'm making sure everything's clean. I'm packing my bag really nice.
Yep.
I'm like
Hmm.
folding my headbands, getting
Mhm.
them ready in there. Like everything is because that's part of the fun too, is the preparation there.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Kids aren't doing that these days.
No, no.
I see it. I'm like, I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't
It's
know if
almost
it's
like a
a.
meditation or something. It's like,
Yeah, it
getting
is.
ready for battle, essentially.
Yeah,
That's what we're going into.
Yeah,
yeah.
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 Setting the intention of what you're gonna do that weekend and
Mhm.
just
Yep.
kind of mentally preparing.
Hmm.
Yeah, 100%. I'm
So
into it.
so how did the whole getting into the tournament side of paintball
Mhm.
start? You guys were blocking paintballs with pans, and then you
Yeah.
guys were like, all right, let's get serious and let's go check out a field or something.
Yeah, so then there was, Paintball Sam's basically every weekend. But like in
Hmm.
between that time, we would still go camping in the summers and then play like two on two, my mom and myself against my dad and my brother. And
Nice.
I'll probably never forget this happening, and this kind of shows like how competitive my family is too. We were playing two on two and we had walkie talkies. And like the agreement was you stay on your channel, I stay on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom decided that she wanted to know where my dad and my brother were because it'd been like an hour and we couldn't find them. So she switches to their channel, to my dad and my brother's channel, and my dad goes on the walkie-talkie, "I'm in a hornet's nest." And he thinks he's talking to my brother. And my mom freaks out and she stops the game only to reveal that we're cheating. And she's like on their channel. But then also, he really wasn't in a hornet's nest. It just meant that we had basically found them and we were really close.
Ah,
So,
I
like,
see.
that could, like, the competitive side of it, like, that
Mm-hmm.
evolved into playing tournaments.
Mm.
And that evolved into playing tournaments, just the four of us, like with an extra person, but like recreationally. So at Paintball Sam's, they'd have their little, like,
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could call them 5-man tournaments on their makeshift, fields. It wasn't airball or anything. It was just
Oh,
on the
those are fun.
recreational fields. Yeah. Yeah.
Those are really fun, those tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had this field, I'm sure they still do, at SC Village called Legoland.
Mhm.
Have you guys all played
Yeah.
that? That little field was so much fun back in the day. I just remember, and all it was like, what are those things even? They're some kind of crates.
Yeah.
I don't even
Yeah.
really
So
know what they are.
they're like, postal pallets. And actually, like, we had, like,
Okay.
at my parents' field, we had a Lego field and it was made out of those.
Nice.
They're plastic and they're easy to cut and like put together. But
Mhm.
same thing.
Yeah, it was just so fun. Like all those fields were super makeshift, but
Mhm.
they were fast paced. They were fun. It was exciting. It was really exciting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that your dad was already thinking 2 steps ahead. He's like, "Yo, if they start cheating on here, I already got codes in place." He's like, "I'm in the hornet's nest. Who wants it?"
Seriously.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So funny. Yeah.
He probably set it up like he wanted you guys to tune into his
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah.
He
Freak
probably
your mom out. He freaked her out, dude.
seriously.
That's funny.
That's
Seriously.
awesome. So then, did you guys ever play on a team together, like the family?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
So literally, that's what we were called, the family. And it was like
There we go.
me and my dad, my brother, my mom, and then another person. Generally, it was either just like another person who was at the field that we played at, another kid, or another dad, or something. But one tournament we did play against like Oliver and Marty Bush. I can't remember who else was on that team. We got second, they got first, of course. But
What a
it was
tournament, though,
cool.
to be able to play. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Wow.
back then it was cool to see players who were playing competitively outside of like the recreational side, and you kind of got a glimpse into what paintball, what else it could be. It doesn't just have to be playing recreationally. It can be this other
Mhm.
side that you don't get exposure to unless somebody comes and plays where you're playing. Because there would be no, back then there was like there was internet, but it's not like it is today. We
Yeah.
would have had no exposure to the other side of it unless somebody came to play where we were playing. So, yeah.
And do you think that we talk about marketing on here, obviously, for paintball and making
Mhm.
sure that it's getting the type of exposure that we need it to keep growing?
Yeah.
Like your dad found
Which you've
paintball.
been crushing, by the way. We'll get to that
Yeah.
a little bit later, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you have. Yeah, I know, man. Shout out to YouTube. We're going to talk about that.
Oh.
And your dad found it through magazines,
Mhm.
but do you think today that more eyes are on paintball, or do you think that we could be doing a better job in any way, or what's your take on the whole networking for paintball right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have too much of like insight or an opinion there.
Mhm.
I'm not as so involved in paintball as you guys are.
Yeah.
Outside of paintball, I have my own business that I focus heavily on when I'm not playing.
Mhm.
I definitely have seen over the years more diversity in the teams, which
Mhm.
I think unless there was some pretty good marketing happening or exposure happening, like from you all, really, to be honest,
Mhm.
I don't know how I feel about it, then there really wouldn't be that. Like we've almost
Mm.
created, well, not almost created, but we've created that just like organically, just from a
Yeah.
passion of loving paintball and wanting other people to be exposed to it and other people to play it because we know what it does for us. And I mean, that's
Absolutely.
part of the reason why I love paintball so much, because I know what it's done for me. I know what it's done just like with my family. I know what it, just like our family business, what it's done for like team building, what it's done for confidence, what it's done for exerting your energy somewhere other than just either work and regular life every single day. It's like it's a really, really special thing to me.
It is, and that's why we shout it from the mountaintops. We're like,
Yeah.
get out and play
Yeah.
some paintball, because it is a definite life changer. And it has, I
Mhm.
mean, we get messages all day, and we're so grateful for them, because we get to see firsthand what this game is doing. And it
Mhm.
really has a tremendous impact if you know, get past the whole marker thing or whatever, and then just enjoy the game. And the game itself is going to change, like you said, community, family, friendship,
Mhm.
connectivity. It gives you like a tribe, which I feel, obviously as humans, we need some type of tribe to be a part of. And it's one
Yeah.
of the best tribes you could ever be a part of is paintball.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not buying that whole marker thing is an issue anymore. I'm
No?
just not. You can't tell me
Yeah,
with Call of Duty and all these video
I know.
games that are having, like they're billion-dollar industries, that it's an
Mhm.
issue still.
I can't believe it
I
either.
think
I
I think
honestly,
it's an
yeah.
outdated conversation. I truly
Yeah.
do. I could be wrong. I'm sure there's still some companies that have that as a talking point
Mhm.
Yeah.
against it. I would imagine, but I think especially as
Mhm.
time continues to go on, that paintball is going to be removed from that conversation.
Yeah.
And I could almost vouch for it, because I have one of the most green companies in the world that I work with, Garden of Life. And,
Mhm.
they're one of the, like, quote unquote greenest companies there is, and they are amazing, and they support paintball tremendously, even though, there's, like you said, it's an outdated kind of conversation, because with
Mhm.
Call of Duty, Halo, all these wild games, the
You're like
kid,
blowing each other's heads off for real. They say you're simulating war playing paintball. I mean,
yeah,
you have these video games where you're actually
yeah,
doing that,
yeah,
Yeah.
and
paintball
it's
doesn't even come close.
yeah, and paintball. I mean, it's humbling too, because unlike a
Mhm.
video game you can just yell at each other over a microphone,
Mhm.
and there's no repercussions from it. You kind of can on the paintball field too, but you have to deal with consequences right away. So there's
Mhm.
a respect that comes with
Mhm.
playing paintball,
Mhm.
and you don't get that in video games. That's for sure.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and I think you guys have mentioned it before, just like the how difficult it is to explain what's going on the paintball field to someone who's
Mhm.
never played before. That can be
Mhm.
challenging. I know, like when um, my grandma and my aunt are watching the webcast because we're playing. I always get questions afterwards, like, "What was going on there?
Mhm.
What is everybody
Mhm.
even doing?"
Yeah,
So I know we'll talk about it later, but the
Of
YouTube
course.
video really like that helped
mm.
my family kind of understand like a little bit better like what exactly the basis and like the basis for playing was, which was cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, shoot, I guess we can hop into that YouTube video. Why not? It's
Yeah.
a good time. I mean, you had I believe her name was Michelle Kerr. Am I saying her last name right?
Car. Hmm.
Carr. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Huge YouTuber.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I thought that video was excellent. She like experiments with extreme sports or extreme activities.
Hmm.
And you guys had her out at the field, had some pro players out, and you basically coached her through the day, and then
Yeah.
they ended up playing a 3-on-3 kind of event. You want to talk about that?
Mhm. Yeah. So she does do some extreme things, but they're all around her fear of something. So in
Hmm.
this
Okay.
situation, it was like a fear of her getting shot.
Mhm.
She had an idea of doing it, and I think that like in her videos she asked people like, what do you want to see, and they would either say paintball or airsoft. Thankfully
She
she
chose paintball.
I
Yes.
know, yeah.
Shout
Yeah,
out to all the
Michelle.
airsofters out there. Sorry, guys. We won this one.
Yeah, so thankfully I had just recently done my interview and it was on Di's website. So she found me
Awesome.
on Di's website and then looked at my
Wow.
Instagram and then looked at my business and then found my email and then emailed me.
She
And
stalked you.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. I guess so. Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
tremendous.
That
Yeah.
is. That is
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
And
and then we had a phone call. She kind of talked about what she thought that she wanted. And then I just gave her some ideas of how we could support her and what she wanted to do. I mean, we have a beautiful field at Victory Paintball Park that Fran takes care of and is his his passion. So we had
Immaculate.
like we had like a great place for it.
You're about to say the best place,
I
and
was,
you've been super modest already, but honestly,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
field is absolutely. We talked about it on the show since you guys have taken over. Fran does such a tremendous job. That is
Yeah.
definitely one of the best parks in the nation for sure.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the stamp of approval from PTG. It is
Boom.
definitely one of the top fields in America. If you get the chance to go out to Oceanside, to Camp Pendleton, definitely show some love and stop by. Fran and Nikki will take care of you. They have the best park ever out there. So we definitely appreciate all you guys are doing as well. I know it's been tough, but you guys are trucking on and doing a great job.
Yeah, thanks. It's not just, Fran, it's Lily and Junior and everybody else who like supported the park. Like when it was first starting out,
Yeah.
Hinman gave us a set of bunkers, like sold us paint, sells us paint so we can sell it to the customers, the players. We really just like wanted to provide like the best place for people to play. And then also provide that like coaching, mentoring aspect of it. I mean, you will still see Fran on the field, like when people are playing, like coaching. I do it every once in a while. But that's really important to us too.
You're a little too big time now to be there all the time. I'm just kidding.
I love
every
doing it. Yeah.
totally. And you could see that, every time I'm at the field, you guys are both out there. You guys are the community, right? And there's a very good culture that's being built there. So I think that's why people are loyal to the field and what you guys have done with it. And so it's exciting. And yeah, Fran is always up there on the ladder, calling games, offering his help and assistance. And again, you guys both have been in paintball for a really long time. You definitely know a lot about the sport, a lot about the game, how to play the game. So it's cool. It's good to see that field doing so well, because it's kind of a legendary park, right?
Yeah.
Camp Pendleton Paintball Park, and it's been around a long time. And since you guys have taken over, it's only improved. So
yeah,
it's pretty spectacular.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you for that.
The Instagram, we got to shout out the Instagram. It's for Victory Paintball Park, but can you drop that in here? The Instagram name?
Yeah, it's just Victory Paintball. I think it's just at Victory Paintball Park.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, go check them out. Thank you. Definitely.
Yeah. So back to the YouTube with Michelle, choosing the person to do that with me was like not a hard choice at all. To ask Nick to come slowly, I can come out there and help me with that. He's so charismatic, and with BKI doing the drills and being able to explain paintball from an aspect of just like industry. And he's a great, all around great guy. So it was really fun doing that with him as well. So we took her through the and then, obviously Di helped us out, gave us jerseys and everything that we needed for that. So we took her through the equipment, and really it was just like initially about us teaching her about the marker, how to use it, how to hold it, what she needs to be thinking. This is
her first time ever.
Yeah, her first time ever. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What she needs to be thinking about while she's playing, and that sort of thing. So we took her through that. She shot at Nick a couple times, shot me in the foot, which was pretty funny, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the video, and by the end, I know.
Yeah, that was fitting. That was fitting for a new player to have that mistake and catch it on film. Perfect.
I literally knew I was going to get a shot. I just didn't know when or where, but I was like, I'm going to get smoked at some point. Please take your finger off the trigger. Put your barrel condom on.
Yeah. Safety first.
Yeah.
Safety first. Yeah. Shout out to the safety first. I was in New Jersey last weekend, and people are just walking around with barrel socks off in the pits, waving. I'm like, hey, whoa, stop. Don't come in here. Whoa, put a barrel sock on. And they look at me like I'm a jerk, asking them to put a barrel sock on. It was unbelievable. I was like, man, keep your goggles on in the pits, guys. My goodness, this is nuts.
Yeah.
It's lawless. Hey, 2021, lawless right now. For sure.
Crazy.
It's like telling some people to put a mask on.
Yeah. So she shot you in the foot. Was this in the very beginning of you working with her?
It was pretty close to the beginning. Yeah, we were just like teaching her how to just like aim and basically and shoot and aim. And then
Yeah.
I got smoked in the foot. And then
Oh man.
To tie in real quick, 'cause we have our whole Discord. They have a bunch of questions for you. One of the questions from Sugar Shane is about this. So figure it's,
There we go.
What was your first thought when she shot you in the foot? What was the very first thing that you thought? Were you like upset? Were you,
No, so I wasn't upset at all. I'd already in my mind thought like I'm gonna get shot or whatever. But of course, like
Right.
the first thing is like the F word, just like fuck. Like that's gonna be a bruise that probably broke skin and have a huge toe or whatever. But I was like, okay, if this is how this is gonna go, though, I better be careful. So,
Gonna have to reschedule the foot modeling gig Monday morning.
seriously.
It looked like fun. You guys had a good time, and she was kicking ass by the end of the day. She I was impressed. I was like, dang, she's
Did
balling
she
out
really
there.
bunker that dude? I forgot who it was. She like bunkered someone at the very end.
Oh, in the 50 on the
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It was legit.
legit.
Damn. It did
Okay.
look legit. I was like, I wanted to pick it apart. I was like, no, that looks real. It looks like he really pulled that off.
No,
That's what I was. Yeah.
totally
Oh, man.
legit. So like one of my favorite parts, and I think Nick said this was like one of his favorite parts too, is like when I actually got to be behind when she was playing Nick one-on-one and I got to be behind her because I could tell her like kind of what to do and then she could do it to learn without just her trying to play and then me coming in and saying, hey, you should have done X, Y, and Z.
Jesus. I didn't realize that was connected. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We got a phone call coming through.
We got a phone call. All right, we're good.
Yeah. So it's just, that was a lot better than me just like coming in and being like, hey, you should have done X, Y, and Z. Like she would have had no idea what I was talking about. So it was really cool experience to be behind her while she was like trying to play. So I think she learned a lot during that time. And then when she played one-on-one against Nick just by herself. And one of like her advantages is she's very small and she wasn't afraid to move up. Like
That's huge.
Ironman mentality, move up,
Yeah.
go, attack. So, so it was like, she kind of did that on her own and that was really cool. But yeah, when she bunkered, I can't remember exactly who it was, but when she bunkered him, I was like, hell yeah, she just bunkered it. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's, I mean, and for her too, that had to be that's a moment she's going to remember from paintball,
absolutely.
That's awesome.
That was her first day. Most people never bunker someone on their first day. I mean, truly, most people that go out and play, they're like cowering in the back or like hiding. She was out there bunkering people. It's amazing. And hopefully she falls in love with paintball and keeps playing paintball. I'm going to just help her out with a little plug for Tic Tac. I saw she was working with them. So, hey, shout out to Tic Tac. Thank you for, they have eyes on paintball just because of that thing right there. So, it's little connections like that they go a long way. And thank you for, being in the paintball ether and making this connection, just, doing that video and then bada boom, bada bing, you got big YouTubers in here.
Yeah. And the other cool thing about it is after that, I can't remember if it was her cousin or her brother, but they had a birthday party at SE Village and she went and she played with all of them.
Nice.
So that was awesome. So now she's going to continue to play.
There we go.
That is incredibly cool.
I thought that was
actually
awesome.
the cool. Yeah, that's actually the coolest part of the story, I think.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Nice. It's an addicting game.
Yeah, now their family's it's kind of, they're going to keep passing it along and keep playing.
Yeah. And then there was just so many people at the tournaments that came up to me and just said that they watched the video and that now they understand that parts of paintball that they didn't even understand that they understand a little bit more. So hopefully it was educational for folks because that was part of the intent.
I think it will be. And I think you hit on something really important that, if you do take someone out to go play paintball, make sure you give them a great experience like you did, you knew how to get the most out of her time there and you were able to get on the field, give her some insights and like right there during the game, tell her how to shoot, which way to shoot, how to play it. And that's really important. So for all of us out there, when we take people to go play paintball, make sure that they have the best time of their life and you guys have a nice unit and you guys are working together and it's just a really good time like that. That's awesome.
That's actually, something for field owners too. We talk about all the time, which is why we appreciate so much, what you and Fran do and the whole team with the park. you need to offer a good experience. You know, if you have a filthy park nobody wants to go to, it's not clean, and it's just, you know, looks grungy, that's not a good first experience for anybody, right? They're going to go play and they're going to go home and say, that was okay. It was not really my thing. But if you show up to a nice facility, you know, it leaves a different impression, right? And so park owners have a huge responsibility, because they're the ones that give first time players their first experience. Like, it is a huge responsibility.
Yeah. And kind of just to speak to that, like before Fran and I started selling paint at the field, we had this conversation, almost like a debate, the two of us. It's like, we can't have our first thought be about making money off of this paint. If somebody buys our paint and they have a terrible experience, I'm going to feel like absolute shit. So I just can't have, like, we can't have that. And then that's also the reason why all of the equipment that we have, if something broke or you don't have something, you come and you borrow it from us. We're not trying to rent it to you or whatever. It's like not about that. It's about having fun and just like using your time, like the time that you have to be there and have fun.
Yeah.
Dang,
it's
amazing.
That is awesome, because a lot of times the paint is where people, you know, they make some good money. And I love that you said that, you know, you put the paint first. And I think that's a huge, very important thing that we all need to do, is put that paintball first, man. We got to make sure that we're putting the paintball first. This is the game. The game is that little paintball. If they have a bad time or the paint's off a little bit, it's going to throw off the whole experience. So we got to definitely, you know, care about that first and foremost.
Yeah, I know even to this day, if I am shooting squirrely paint, it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's the whole fun of the game is being able to shoot something you're aiming at. You know, like that is what you know, triggers something in the mind that's like, yes, I did it, you know. But if it's just squirrely paint and then you get shot in the neck or something, it sucks.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Mom, let's go play laser tag or airsoft. We'll try airsoft next week. Those things shoot straight.
Yeah. It's very important. And we love your guys' story. Can't wait to get back out to Victory Paintball Park. It's been way too long since I've seen you guys out there. You guys are planting trees. You got the crispy fields. Everything looks nice. So we can't wait to get back there.
Yeah. I hate to break it to you, but the trees died.
Oh no.
The trees died. What happened?
Dang it.
Dude, Fran's supposed to be on top of that. I'm going to let him know Thursday.
So it just rained way too much, and then it froze overnight, and then they were just like, just what's that movie with the frozen guy and the whatever that
Jack Frost Christmas movie?
No. Where he's like something man. I can't remember. Anyways, they were just basically just frozen done. And just frozen, and we just had to cut them down.
Did this just happen?
It was like it was like last season, and then I begged Fran to just let him try to grow back, and then the rabbits or the squirrels got to anything that was growing, so then he put like wire around it, and then they found their way in, and then I can't.
It's the intention. The intention is there, and we appreciate it. Y'all, you know, you care about the ambiance. I guess that's the most important thing, the takeaway there. You guys really do care about that.
Yeah, it was Earth Day when we planted them. It was kind of fun. That was
nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Instead, he bought me a bonsai, so I have bonsais.
There we go.
Oh yeah, look at that. For all the listeners, you could head over to the YouTube and check out. She's got a nice little bonsai plant.
We got the bonsai here.
Nice. Very zen. Very zen.
Yeah.
So I guess talking about you know, owning a field, we can kind of segue back into your youth, because that became part of the family business early on as well, correct?
Yeah. So my parents like for their regular jobs before we like went looking for land and then built the paintball field was centered around like customer service, retail customer service. So at Paintball Sam's, although it was a great place to play, the customer service wasn't that great. So my parents were like, we could definitely do this and feel like we could do it better based on better customer service, caring about paintball, caring about taking care of people. So they went on a mission to find land. And the first place that they looked at was like in an area where there wasn't like a paved road. So when we went in the city, we were trying to get city permits, and the fire department basically said, if anybody gets hurt back here, like we're not going to be able to get the ambulance back here. So let's scratch that. So then they found some land, 100 acres in Woodland, just outside of Woodland. There's some rolling hills on it, but it's not necessarily completely flat. So they bought that, and that's what we built Wild Adventure Paintball on. And like something that was really cool about that experience is this was so much fun. But me and my mom and I, after she got off of work, we would drive around Sacramento, city of Sacramento, looking for construction sites to ask if we could have the leftover hyperball, the
nice.
leftover corrugated pipe. And then the water pipe too, that my parents built a field called Hydroball. And then like the spool field was, I think, is like SCG&E spools. Like we just drove around with a truck and a trailer looking for stuff that we could build a field with.
Wow. That is crazy.
So that was like how resourceful that my mom was, but then just also how like passionate you can be about something, and you can make something out of not nothing, but you can make something out of whatever you dream it to be. It's just
out of motivation,
cool.
and passion.
True.
Yeah. You just go make it happen.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was really fun. And then during that time, that was like November. The field opened November 2001. Yeah. And during that time, my brother, who's, like I said, younger than I was, he was homeschooled. So really it was like my mom, my dad, and my brother going to the field, building the field. I was working. But yeah, that was also special, like a cool special time too.
Yeah, how memorable. I mean, that's so crazy that you guys, literally drove around, picked things up, and we're like, all right, we got some more stuff to keep building. That's just passion right there and determination to get it done. And that field for NorCal is a staple, I went out there when I was a kid. I think I was like 11 or 12 years old, and I would go out there with Twisted Paintball, and we would play out there sometimes as well.
Yeah. I think my mom said something about you being out there when you were like 12 or 13 or something. But
yeah.
It's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I played there. I remember it was foggy, NorCal fog, NorCal cold, and it was a great field. We had a really good time at that field. The tournament was awesome. I think we took like 4th or something like that. But I just remember leaving there like, wow, I want to come back to WAP because this place is awesome. It just has big fields. Yeah.
Yeah. And my dad named it WAP because that's what it sounds like when the paintball hits you.
Yeah. Perfect.
WAP.
Yep.
That's great. That is so funny.
He's a genius.
He's a genius.
He brought all of this to life. What a genius, man.
Seriously.
And I'm blown away. Like you guys got into paintball together, and it sounds like just became a full-on paintball family. That's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. And then I was working there I was working like Monday through Friday, insurance company, and then I was on the weekends working at the paintball field. We would have tournaments, tons of groups, like renting, automags. Automags were like our staple gun at that point. So those, we were renting those and trying to split up the groups where it's like the novice are not playing the advanced, and like making sure that it was fair and things like that. But that was the first time that I met Shane Howe as well. So
I played on Oakland with Shane for quite a while. Yeah, he's the man.
Shane the Chain.
Shane the Chain, the ageless assassin. That's what they call him.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, he's still a monster. The guy will still run you down repetitively, and he gets the job done. Shout out to Shane and your family too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if your mom, dad, fam are going to listen to this, but thank you guys. And Mom, thank you for all the hard work that you put into, raising you, Nikki, and then keeping this paintball dream alive for so many people out there in Northern California, because it was a huge park for the whole NorCal area out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I saw Nikki, you posted a
Mhm.
photo not too long ago. I think it was, yeah, pretty sure it was you. And I was
Mhm.
like, wow, that field looks amazing. Looks gorgeous.
Oh,
I've never
yeah.
been there.
Mhm.
I've never been there.
Yeah.
But it just looks beautiful, like down in a
Mhm.
little valley almost. Looks
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, so
I,
that's at my parents' field. That was like in the back where the hyperball is at. I was out on top of one of the hills. I was taking the dog for a walk.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think
that was
Tyler
really
is
nice.
pulling up a photo on his phone to show the
Yeah. I just
YouTubers.
I just have some old school pics of you running around, and you got an angel. You got the all black angel, which is
Wait, you
pretty
had
sweet.
pictures of me?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I got look at putting in work. Hold
Oh
on.
my Did my mother
Yeah,
send you
so
those?
these no, it's I got my sources, being that I'm in the news industry these days,
Oh
I
my goodness.
Media has their sources, all right.
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
But you've been in the game for a long time and you are not playing games either. I can tell you're playing to win out here. I
Yeah.
mean, you're in the 50 with this angel putting in work for the YouTube.
Damn, look at
Check
that.
it out. No elbow pads, first of all. No elbow pads, just gritting and grinding.
Is
And
Ryan Moorhead your brother?
yeah.
Is that- No.
Yep. Ryan Moorhead doesn't wear anything under his jersey and pants. It's just jersey and pants.
Remarkable. No socks either.
Nothing. Yeah.
It's
He's
crazy.
an absolute legend, and he will run you down repetitively as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man. So I can't wait. I'm gonna post these to the PTG
Mhm.
Instagram. Everybody be sure to follow, at Play the Game Podcast on Instagram. I'm gonna post some relic photos of Nikki playing paintball that are pretty legendary. So be prepared for that.
Oh
Nice,
my
dude.
goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one, good one.
Yeah, it's I got my sources. I don't have to
Yeah,
tell you. I
yeah.
don't have to tell you these things.
It's all good, it's all good.
But
So
yeah, it was awesome to see these.
yeah, well, I can't wait to get a better view of them. That's
Yeah.
funny. So Nikki, how did we get from that? How far up in the ranks did you get as a player?
Mhm.
How did that whole adventure transpire?
Yeah, okay, so, started playing tournaments at, like, the rec field, and then, at the time, my boyfriend at the time went to go try out for, um oh, I can't remember, to be honest.
There was
Maybe
a
Out of
lot of teams.
Control, maybe Cat Factory, maybe Out of Control, like, one of those, and I guess one thing to
Mhm.
mention too is, like, I grew up playing with, you know, Dave and Neil Eberly
Yeah.
and Glenn, like those are the people who taught me how to play paintball. So it's
Mhm.
like
So cool. Legends.
I hear you, Tyler, when you're like the grit determination. It didn't
Mhm.
matter I was a girl. It was they
Yeah.
were like, shut up.
Mhm.
If you want to play, then let's go. And you better like hold your own, don't get shot. You
Yeah.
know? Like
Mhm.
yeah. So it wasn't like
Those are
yeah,
some of my
it
favorite
was
people
cool.
in paintball. We are so blessed to have
Mhm.
been trained by them and like had that experience of playing paintball alongside them
Yeah.
because they're pioneers, in the NorCal area.
Mhm.
SoCal had pioneers. You had pockets all over the country with pioneers, and they were our pioneers. And
Mhm.
I think that man, in paintball, they've just carved such a huge path for so many players, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So,
Hmm.
okay, so during that time, my boyfriend went to go play for, or my then boyfriend went to go play for a team, and he was like, there's this other team. It's an all girl team, and they're having tryouts, and it was in Redlands. He's like, you want to go? And I'm like, well, I got to figure out who this team is. Yeah, sure, I'll go, whatever. And then it was it's Destiny and B and Mike. So I either found them on the internet or something, and I called B and I just said, hey, like, can I come try out? Like, I'm a girl plays. Like, I really haven't played like national tournaments or anything. But I'd like to come just like see what it's all about. So I went to Redlands and I tried out, and then that was like the first like like organized tournament style team that played like Huntington, that played the
Yeah.
NPPLs and like Huntington Beach and all that. So that was the first team that I got on. That was like obviously early 2000s.
So you were one of the
Um,
lucky people that got to play Huntington Beach.
yeah.
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 There's not many of us left, that are still running around.
Seriously, yeah. So
Uh,
so then I played tournaments with Destiny for maybe a couple years, and then I stopped playing paintball for a little while. I moved to Michigan. I came back, and then started playing again in like 2006 with an, a 3-man like pump team. We used to play at Camp Pendleton, like I think it was called like Old School Challenge or something, that tournament series. But it was Camp Pendleton, like the old side. So back when Camp
Okay.
Pendleton
Yep.
was like on the other side. So I was playing that. And then I had some friends that I had made in Northern California that were girls who played as well. So I started playing with them, as well, just like local tournaments every once in a while. Um, and that was fun for me because of the camaraderie around it. Like being, growing up as an athlete and being competitive, like you said earlier, Marcel, like paintball will always be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
So when my friends were playing, I could, just fly in and then just play with them in a tournament and go home. But some of like the coolest memories of being on Destiny is like playing at Redlands and just getting just like my like elbows and side and knees just absolutely annihilated from the ground. And
Redlands
then
was
like
so gnarly.
it was
It was like
dreadful.
clay red rock.
Oh, oh my, it was brutal. And of course,
yeah.
like we were playing against teams that were better than like the LTZ kids that were better than us, just trying to get better. Um,
Mhm.
and I would be in Southern California going out to those practices, or sorry, Northern California going out to those practices, leaving on Friday night, getting there, practicing, coming home Sunday night really late, and then going to work on Monday, and like for the first half of the day sleeping on my friend's desk and like in the back in the corner because I was just exhausted, and she's like on the lookout if anybody's like coming or
Yeah.
whatever. But it was like weekend after weekend after weekend. So like we talk about sacrifices, like looking back, I don't really consider that a sacrifice. I can just consider it like something
Mm-hmm.
that I did to be able to play and like
Mm-hmm.
have fun and be around other people who like to play as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are like some memories like I will never forget. Just
You were a part of
crazy
like the
stuff.
the original Destiny then. That
Yeah.
was probably right when the team kind of formed, I would assume,
Yeah, I
around
mean,
that
like
time.
right in the beginning. That's when we were like sponsored by like I think Chronic for paint and Circle
Yeah.
for other stuff, and yeah, B
Mhm.
was like amazing at being able to get
Mm-hmm.
sponsorships and like make sure we were supported and get us paint and like all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, super
She
grateful for
is
that.
a crusher. She
Mhm.
dominates. She was dominating then and she's dominating now. We
Yeah,
we had her on the show. It was one of the better ones we've had and just a absolute rock star, from top to bottom. She's amazing.
yeah. I mean, I
That was
really learned a lot. I definitely learned a lot playing with her, and again, like you don't have to talk to people every single day to know that you're still like to know that you're still friends. And I could just call her right
mhm.
now and be like, hey, let's
Yeah.
like just talk. So it's a cool
Mhm.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah, B has done a lot for the sport. She
Yeah.
is so intertwined with so many different groups and teams and organizations,
Mhm.
and her heart really just pours out into the community. Got a lot of time for B. I've known her since I was like 12 years old as well. I've known her for a long, long time, and she's still doing the same stuff that she always did. She sees
Mhm.
you at the field and she's willing to help. She wants to
Mhm.
help, wants to make sure you have a good time, help you make connections. She's just fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we love her.
100%.
Mhm. Yeah. So
Yeah.
then I was just playing then like local tournaments, and that was like 2006-ish time frame. Then I met Fran, and then Francisco and I would play. Like an interesting thing about our relationship is like really built on like doing things together. So playing paintball, playing golf,
Mhm.
just hanging out, going camping, going to Catalina with friends, and then supposed to camp, but we take the van to the campsite and we didn't really camp. Like, yeah.
Nice.
Fran's definitely my road dog for sure. Always
He's
there
the man.
supporting, like always there
He's the man.
supporting everything that, all the crazy things that I want to do. Then he's like always there. So met Fran, and then him and I started playing with two of his friends, and we had like kind of like an adult-ish type team. And then we were just playing the RPLs. What else did we play? I think just like the RPLs, which is like the local Camp Pendleton tournament. And then we got to a place where we met. Well, actually, I guess I could say that like during that time we would go visit Todd really like often with Golden State Sports. We'd go visit him a lot, and we're like, hey, we want to like have a team, give us some, kind of give us something to do, some people to play with, and he hooked us up with Tom Dufon and those guys, and they had a divisional, like a higher ranked divisional team, and then they also had some kids that that were on the team but lower division. So they gave us the kids, and they kept their divisional team, and then we created later on we created the Golden State Knights from that team. And those kids were like 12, 13, 14-ish. And really what we tried to do there was create some stability for the kids, and then create like good people too. Like kids who understood, like you have to show up to paintball on time, and if you're going to be late, then you better call, and you better tell your mom that she's got to get you here. And and it was really great to have Matt and Rosie, our other friends, helping us, like supporting us with supporting the team, because we also wanted to make it like financially doable for them as well. So that was a really cool, fun time too.
Yep.
Gosh, you've been so heavily involved with so many things that were like so close to my path as well.
Oh yeah,
it's just so interesting. But yeah, you've really been in it.
Yeah, totally. And then I think the WCPPLs kind of started. We started playing those as well. And then the kids got older. They're interested in cars, and they're interested in girls, and they're interested in other things. So we kind of no longer had a team. But there were still kids that were out at the field playing. And namely one of those kids was Brandon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Cornell.
Yeah, Brandon Cornell.
That kid has been special from day one.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Just so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a good guy too. Like grown up to be just an amazing guy. So I guess you could kind of say like Fran and I were always at the field. Like whenever Mike would at the time he was coaching the Ironmen, and he would they would have practice. Fran and I kind of weren't really weren't involved, but we'd go get breakfast, and then we'd go sit in the stands and just kind of like watch the entertainment. Just kind of have fun and just kind of watch everybody play, and get ready for tournaments and stuff like that. That was really fun for us. And then when Brandon got on the Ironman, that's like kind of when Fran and I were there just to really support Brandon. So we went to the tournaments, not like as anything like part of the team, but just there if he needed something, or if any of the other kids that we knew needed something or whatever. We were just kind of like the paintball patrons, I guess you could say, if you want to call it that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And just so I have clarity, how exactly did Brandon and Fran, because I know Brandon pretty much came up under Fran's wing. No?
Well, I mean, I think that there's like a lot of people who Brandon learned a lot from, because he was such a sponge. He was very curious. He was always asking questions. So it's not just one person.
Of course.
There's like
it was Fran's team. Totally. It takes a village. But weren't they on a team together or no?
Yeah, so Brandon was on the Golden State Knights, yes.
Okay.
But that was a little bit later well, we were the Pirates then, and then we broke off to be the Golden State Knights, and then Brandon stayed on the Pirates, but still always around. Like, we've always told the kids, if you don't want to play on this team, that's perfectly fine. We'll still here, still support you. Just be a good kid. Don't be a douchebag. Don't do terrible things, and we're all good. So
Totally.
which he obviously maintains, and other kids do too. So it's like whatever. But yeah, I guess back to sorry, where was I on that one?
Oh, just
You were with little B, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and that kind of that portion where I think you were just saying one of the more notable players that came up through that camp,
yeah.
who was around during that time, was little Brandon. You would come with the Ironmen. You were
Mhm.
there. You and Fran were both there at the events to assist if needed, but it was always, you know, from a respectable, you know, distance. You
Yeah.
guys have always been like very subtle and don't want to step on anyone's toes, but
Mhm.
your guys' help has always been
Mhm.
so appreciated, right? And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's
Perfect.
where you were.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Marcelo. Sorry, I started thinking about something else, but
It's okay.
yeah. Okay. So then we were going to the tournaments and watching all the games, and just from like a competitive aspect, I really wanted to like figure out like how can I contribute just like by watching. And then something else that we didn't really talk about is just like during high school, just all the sports that I played. But one thing that I did in high school is I used to watch the Atlanta Braves play. That was the only channel that I got on my little black and white TV in my room. And I used to sit there and watch and try to predict the pitches. I'd be like, oh, I think he's going to throw a fastball or a slider or a this or a that. So that was just something kind of fun that I used to do, like strategically just watching.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
And loved like Greg Maddux and John Smoltz and just watching the Braves. But I think that that's part of how I translate, or when I translated that into like the scouting and the charting that I was doing and the predictive kind of stuff that I do that probably nobody ever saw except for me and me and Fran.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but sitting up in the stands, like I was doing something, and that was my contribution to the team to try to figure
Mhm.
out how I could help without being a player or a coach, really. So
Oh,
I
it's
started
so
doing that.
important. Yeah.
So I started doing that, and that was kind of like a fun thing too. I would go to the first game. I wanted to have my certain spot where I got to see everything, and my umbrella in the stands. And Fran always
Mhm.
made sure I was there and all of that. I'd watch every game, chart every game, and what was really cool about it is I got to see paintball through a different lens that I had never seen it before because I had always just played. So the
Mm.
strategic
Mhm.
side of it, I kind of got to see that, and then got to use my analytics to be able to try to create something, maybe something that wasn't there initially, but try to create something. And then
It's extremely important what you're talking about. You're talking about predicting what the other teams are doing and
Mhm.
looking at rhythms and patterns and all that kind of stuff, which is what the top players and the top organizations in the world do the best. That's how they win. So if you don't have somebody that's doing that, you're probably not going to do too well moving into a tournament.
Yeah, so I mean, I would do that, watch the tendencies. I mean, I could tell you what player was out there just by the way that just their gait, just like
Mhm.
who it
Mm-hmm.
was. And then it got to a point where Todd Martinez came to the Ironmen to coach the Ironmen, and the relationship there is like a very special relationship as well. Just have known him for so long, and just a great friend. We thankfully get to be Fran and I are the godparents to their daughters, their twins.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
They're awesome.
that's really fun too.
That's my coach.
Yeah.
He's the best. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I got to learn a lot from just like being able to be around a little bit more closely than I was before because of the friendship. And then I think also like the value that I brought with just the charting and all of that kind of stuff that I was doing.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah.
and a kind of funny thing is like I'd be over the games would be going on and I'd be in the stands watching, and I kept telling Fran, I need binoculars. I need to see what's going on over there. I want to see what's going on in the pits. I want to see what's happening. Like how is the coach talking to the players? What is it like? What's the rhythm? What's it like? Just because I thought if I could catch something and I could say something that it might help. But anyway, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of
Oh, you're trying to see the plays that were being posted. She's keying in with the binoculars on the play. Hey, snake won this point for sure. I see what you're doing there. Yeah. Dang.
So, but it wasn't actually
binocular
in the pit.
gate.
I was on the other side. But yes, I will do that. Don't you worry. I will.
I love it. Hey, that's that determination right there. That's like from when you guys were going to get those spools and those hyper tubes. It's the same thing. We're going to do whatever it takes. We got this.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So that evolved into Todd saying like, hey, you want to come into the pits? And I was like, do I want to come into the pits? Yes, I do. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for you to ask me to do this so then I can help with audibles. So then I use my predictive analytics stuff, and then just like tell him where I thought certain players were going to go or this or that just from watching all of the games. And I think we worked really well together when it came to that. He certainly, I feel like, listened to me, understood me too, understood what I was saying and used it in his coaching. Maybe he could talk about that more. I don't know. But that was also really cool for me to like learn from him on like how he prepares for tournaments, how he prepares for practice, how he prepares for tournaments, the things that he thinks about, because like he's a legendary player too, like not just coach, but player as well. So it was like, I'm really grateful that I got to learn from him. And then also I got to be closer to in proximity to the players. So then I could learn the players and like what it's like for them when they're playing and they're either not doing well, they're doing well, how they're working together. Cause like paintball is like so unique in the fact that it's like, it's so dynamic. It's so challenging that like, it's almost like football and soccer, but then a little bit of basketball, but then you got to have a little bit of tennis, the individual aspect of it, and the variables are just out of this world. So I really just used that time to learn as much as I could.
Well, you got to study under one of the, I mean, like you said, one of the greatest paintball players that's played the game and coaches as well. I mean, this guy is a force to be reckoned with on and off the field, and that's a tremendous blessing to be able to study the way that he leads the camp, because he's got a gift. Todd is able to, like you said, the connectivity and the cohesion, bring the best out of players and really get people to go the distance.
Yeah. So I was very grateful to learn from him on that aspect, and then did that for his up until World Cup last year. COVID happened, that like dreaded word COVID, and
yeah, we just got flagged actually. Just use it.
Yeah, we're gonna get shadow banned for sure now. How dare you say COVID on the show?
Yeah, I think people just started calling it the pandemic. I'm like, okay, I'm on board with that. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So then that happened, and there was a question of like, were we even going to have a World Cup, right? Like, and if we were, are players going to go? Or are they not going to go? Teams going to go? Or are they not going to go? And when it came like down to it, we were going. And Todd was not going because of it, because of the pandemic, which I totally respect. And I remember thinking to myself, well, who's going to coach the team? And I asked Fran, I'm like, who's going to coach the team? And he's like, well, who do you think should coach the team? And I'm like, Billy. I guess I don't really know. And Fran's like, you need to coach the team. And then I had to think about that for quite a while, talk to Todd about it. But unbeknownst to me, Todd had already told Dave, like, the person who needs to coach the team is Nikki, which is like an amazing thing that one, he had like, you know, the trust in me to coach the team, his team, his
Absolutely, yeah.
baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Dave to be like, okay, Nikki can coach the team. So like, I'm
Well,
super grateful for that.
you
You
deserve it,
understand it?
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tyler. I'm like
absolutely.
the, you know, assistant coach on the stand-in. They have total confidence in me. And I definitely had to like figure out within myself, being like very analytic and very like, I want to do X, Y, and Z, how I was going to do it. Because I know how Todd does it in his brain and how it's organized, but I was looking at it from a completely different lens. Like, I was doing the predictive side. I was watching the other team. I was, you know, I
Yeah.
wasn't so focused on our team and our plays and structuring our practice. And I wanted to mirror what Todd created, like 100%, because that was the best thing to do at that time. So I
Mm-hmm.
did that the best that I could. Todd came to like the first practice, and then wasn't able to come to the other practices. So, you know, I really leaned on the guys to help me and to do all of those things with me and together. And like the during the tournament, I've never seen a group of just like teammates or people or anything, like work, sports, whatever, like come together the way that the way that we did at World Cup before. And it was like so inspiring. It
Mm.
was like so inspiring. Like we're talking like we're coming in on like the 16th point in the match or whatever, and Corey's got his pack off and his mask and his beanie, and LJ's storming into the pits and he's like, get this man his pack, get this man his headgear. Corey, we gotta go. Like we're on
Yeah.
that. Like, let's go, you know? And just like the togetherness and like the just like fighting for each other was just like, it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
The team rallied and they
Yeah.
supported the move, and they
Yeah.
were all there for each other, which
Yeah.
you have to have that in an organization from top to bottom. If there's any like crack in the belief amongst each other,
Mhm.
it's a big problem. You know, things
Yeah.
don't work out. But it definitely did appear that way.
Mhm.
You know, that the team was together and behind the whole move. So,
Yeah.
um, how
That was
did you guys end up doing it, Cup? I don't remember
awesome.
what the finale was.
So I think we won the first Sunday game and lost the second one to Impact in like a really close game.
That's
I
right.
think it was either
That's
like
right.
1 or 2 points. And
That's right. Yeah.
it's like what you look back and it's just like one of those, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
Well, and you guys
Yeah.
lost. I totally remember now. And you guys should have won those points, right? Weren't they a couple? Like, I feel like there was a 2-on-1 that was lost. It's like, as a coach, you know, I've learned from coaching divisional teams now. It's like there's only so much you can control,
Yeah.
and then there's some where it's like, we had it, but
Mhm.
I think it was a really low scoring game, and a
Mhm.
couple of the points you guys should have had.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you're totally right. And you know, being there and like being in it, and yes, should have had, like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But it was
Mhm.
like things to learn, you know, things to learn from. And I think that we were able to do, like, I think the guys were able to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, Oh, what did that event teach? I mean, that's a steep learning curve to kind of hop in and just be the head coach. That's
Mhm.
a steep learning curve for anybody. I'm pretty sure I would be nervous if all of a sudden, you
Mhm.
know, like if I had an injury and Dynasty's like, okay, well, you know, we want you to coach the team or something like that. On the pro level,
Mhm.
you know, it's definitely a lot. You know, there's a
Mhm.
lot of eyes on you. There's a lot of
Mhm.
pressure.
Mhm.
You got to get the team to buy in. How did you
Mhm.
approach that? Like going into the practices?
Um, you know, I just like, I found success in just like being who I am. And like the guys allow me to be who I am, and I think that they understand that I trust them as players and their ability, and that in that, like, I don't know how else to say it other than like, in that will build us a strong team that will be successful. So how did I prepare? I prepared kind of the same way that Todd would have prepared. We do the whole, field breakdown. I think one thing that's like a little bit, one thing that I did that I didn't know how it was going to turn out was really like asking the players, like, what do you want to do? Like, where do you want to go? Which way do you feel comfortable shooting? Like, where can you be your best? Like, I trust you I trust in your ability. I trust in your judgment. Like, tell me what you want to do, and we will find ways to build plays around that. Like not necessarily that
That's
player,
huge.
but what we're trying to accomplish over here. And we'll build plays around it, and then we'll practice them, and then we'll talk about them, and we'll perfect them as much as we can. And when we come to the tournament, we'll use those. And if we have to adjust, hopefully it's only like a little bit here and there. But we'll just go with it and just we'll just like feel it out.
What's one thing you wish you would have known before you started coaching, or a bit of information, or a hurdle that you've had to climb, or, some bit of information on that?
Yeah. Something I wish I would have known before.
Yeah, before starting the coaching journey.
I don't want to call, I wish, so there's a different, like, I think that there's a difference between, well, coaching such a legendary team has created like this dynamic, like, has, I think, made me feel even more committed and determined to be successful and be the best and win. And that can be that can weigh on you.
Yeah.
So I guess one thing that I wish I had known is that that I'm gonna be stressed out. I'm gonna question myself. I gotta trust myself. I've got to do my job, just like I tell the guys to do your job. And I gotta stand. You gotta stand behind your decision when you've made it, even if it's wrong. And I guess especially when it's wrong. So not to say that I didn't know those things, but I didn't know them specific to coaching a team, I guess.
Yeah, like Marsh said, that's a steep learning curve, hopping straight into the pro league and coaching such an iconic team like you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, so many legendary players came through the Ironmen and created that team, and there's so many world championships and so much chemistry and commitment to one another. It's like you have to understand that that's part of what you're signing up for when you're an Ironman.
Yeah, it was awesome to see them claim a victory. You guys, I think it was over 10 years since the last pro win.
It was like 11.
Is that right?
It was like 11 years, I think.
Yeah. And that was a moment I'll never forget, watching that, on Go Sports there.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I look back at that tournament and it was like, there's like when the stars align and you start to feel the stars aligning, it's just like, oh, this is happening. We worked really hard at this. The guys are gelling together. They're playing off of each other. They're listening to one another. They're here for one another. And you could see it. You could see it in everything. And the way Todd brings it together is just, it's amazing.
He's like the Pied Piper, and we're all like a little animals, like yeah. He's a beast. He's an absolute
Todd is he's a fantastic coach. Again, I've had the pleasure to play under him as well, 2010 and 11 with Infamous, and he does a great job of bringing a group together and making the players want to play for him. Which, at the end of the day, to be a good coach, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You're going to get something a little different from all the coaches. Like one coach like yourself might be highly analytical and really good at understanding other teams' tendencies because you watch more paintball than anybody. Another team might be good at inspiring their players with big speeches and big motivational, kind of things like that. Another coach might be really good at drawing up really strategic plays, and you might have that. Some have a little bit of all of it, right? But the most important thing is that the team believes in you, that the team believes in what the coach is doing. Because like you said, Nikki, the players can make up a lot of the time for whatever deficiencies any coach might have, as long as you have that like mutual understanding with each other. You just like you let players do what they do best, players need to let their coach be the best coach they can be too, and I think that's a really important thing for a lot of players out there to understand. They might look at their coach and say, well, he doesn't do this well, and so he's a bad coach. There's probably a lot of things that coach does do well, right? And so work with that and figure out how to make that work with the team. Your coach is your teammate. You got to treat him like it's your teammate.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, and there's also the aspect of it too, is like, seeking first to understand something when you're not necessarily on board with it. And I think that's like one thing that the guys do really well with me, is that when I'm explaining something and they don't understand what I'm saying because I'm saying in a whole different language, that they ask me like, what do you mean by that? And that's just like that dialogue that you hope you have with your teammates first off, and then with your coach as well. So yeah, that's just like the communication part of it, just even on the field, it's like really, really important, obviously, but off the field too is really, it's really important not that you're just communicating about something, but you're finding out like why behind it, and then really like seeking to understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, also it's obviously, can't go without being said. It does have to be a difficult thing. You're the first female head coach, ever in the sport of paintball. And absolutely earned, the way that you got to that spot, absolutely earned. My question is that difficult? Because it's such a male dominated sport, and you know how it is, a group of guys, sometimes it can be hard even for anybody to demand that kind of attention from them. How do you do that? How do you go about doing that?
Yeah. I mean, like I said in my other interview, it's like, I don't feel any different. I've been around paintball for so long and been around the guys, and not necessarily, I was never like one of the guys. That's not, that wasn't it, but it being around
Right.
them and just like being competitive and like sharing common beliefs about things, being competitive, wanting to win. I think understanding and having that mentality really helped me integrate with the guys. And then also like being around in the capacity that I was, that's really, really important as well. I think that, one of the other things that I say is like, I want to coach, and I want us to have this team that's built on mutual respect. Like my respect for you, your respect for me, and your respect for one another. So those things, it doesn't matter if I'm a female or not. Like that doesn't matter. I mean, I definitely, in Philly, the first time the dad and his daughter come up to me and they ask for my autograph, that was so special for me. But also like made me realize that I'm a role model. And even though you think maybe
Absolutely.
you're a role model, like in a different capacity with your nieces, or my goddaughters or my friends, or, whatever, there's a different element to it there. And it's not just an element that I feel, but any pro paintball player that steps on the field is a role model. And you have to, act in that manner, I feel like. So like built on those things, I think really, really helped me be successful. And then it also didn't help that I got like a little bit of street cred from Todd, obviously.
Sure.
And then Dave being so supportive and Chris being so supportive and Billy too. Like in the beginning, and I sometimes I forget about Fran, but he's always there. In the beginning, Billy would come to the tournaments and he'd be in the pits with me, and he'd be there just to be like, if you need help, I'm here. And then after a while, it's like, okay, you got it. You don't need me here. And that's like, Billy's like legendary, like
Absolutely.
absolutely legendary. And for him to trust me too, it's just like a culmination of those things. I think helped in the transition, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, again, all of that was earned. I mean, none of that would have been handed to you if you didn't spend all those hours at the field watching every single game, providing good analytics. You know, that first and foremost, if none of the players or coaches believed in what you were doing there, you never would have been invited into the pit,
Yeah.
which wouldn't have led to the situation, you know, that you're in now.
Yeah.
No, it's really inspiring, and it's a good thing for paintball because women can play this game. Women can absolutely succeed in this game. It's one of the unique sports where men and women can play together. The gun's a great equalizer. And so you being the first to excel on the coaching side of things, I think is like that young girl, right?
Yeah.
At the field. I mean, you know, you may have just sparked something within her to commit to paintball long term. You know, and there's a lot of girls playing right now. You know, there really are. I am seeing girls playing all over the US, all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I think the sport is going to be able to grow tremendously from getting that demographic, you know?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I'm looking forward to meeting more girls like that as well, and trying to inspire them too. And kind of like do it how I would want to do it though too, and not fit into any mold that's already been created. Is like, that's a special thing for me as well. To be the first of anything is like, not many or no one else can say that. And I don't take that lightly either. So yeah, I just try to work hard every day to make sure that I continue to do that. Like, even like you're kind of talking about preparation for tournaments. I would go and I would just sit and watch Go Sports, just to like watch teams and see, like, try to put myself in game situations and try to like practice being a coach. It is like, so I
Like, what would I
definitely take
call
it very
here?
seriously. It's not just
I've never heard that before.
yeah.
I've never heard of a coach. I mean, obviously you watch coaches or you know that coaches watch games. In my opinion, it's always been to like figure out tendencies, right? But with the lens of what would I do in this point, right? It's 4-4. What would be my play call before you actually watch the next point? That is a different lens. It's a little shift in thinking that coaches can use. That's a valuable piece of insight for the listeners.
Yeah. And like, it wasn't me just sitting there like always just by myself either. Like, when John Jackson came on the team, we would like do that together, because I was always interested to understand other teams and like their strategy for things. He's very smart.
Absolutely.
So whatever I can learn from whoever, I want to learn, because I want to be successful at this.
Well, you've been in the trenches. I mean, watch Instagram. You're going to see she's been playing for 25 years. She knows what she's doing. And that's why you deserve everything that's coming your way and all the amazing things that you're doing in paintball, because you love this game, and it shows. You know, you're an amazing ambassador of paintball, and we can't wait to have, hopefully, I don't know why there's not more female participants, because paintball is the perfect game for everyone. And I think that we should hopefully see a huge boost in getting more female participants playing paintball in the future, because it's just a fun game all around.
That kind of leads into an interesting topic. Nikki, I know you are familiar with the WNXL. I think that's what they're going to call it, or what the league is trying to do. What are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, so I've only just like heard about it like on the surface.
I don't
So
even know any
outside of
details about
yeah,
this.
so
Tom
go ahead.
Tom talked about it briefly on the show with us, Ty. The women's league,
Mhm.
Yeah.
the pro women's league.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's going to get more people playing paintball, I think is good. Um, I don't know like any of the formatting or anything like that, so I guess we'll see how that shapes out. I know for me, where I'm at and where I'm coaching is where I want to be. Um, so I guess that's
You'd be out there
what I know to do with
dominating
that.
if you got him.
Yeah, yeah.
She'd be taking first places out there for sure.
Yeah. Well, I just mean, I guess as a, as a overall idea, do you think it's a
Mhm,
good idea? So there's two schools of thought on this, right? And originally, me personally, I was like, no, that's not a good idea because it's the one sport where women can come in and dominate the
mhm.
men, like the gun is the equalizer.
Yeah.
But the more that I thought of it and had some conversations with individuals that shifted my thinking on it a little bit
Mhm,
was, if there was a women's pro league,
mhm,
you're going to have a whole group of women that are on the main stage, that are on Go Sports. You're creating superheroes, and you're now
mhm,
giving young
mhm,
women superheroes to aspire to be, right? And so maybe that will inspire a whole bunch of female paintball
mhm.
players really fast. I mean, I don't know. When I got that part of the conversation, I was like, that might be a good idea. I think I'm for it, but you got to field a competitive team.
Yeah.
You
Mhm,
definitely don't want it to be something that isn't a pro type league,
mhm,
and
mhm.
you have to live up to it. If you're going to be labeled a pro, you have to be a true professional.
Yeah.
And I think there's some girls out there that are ready to do that. I just don't know how many.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you said on something really important about creating the standard around being a pro, and also the standard about around being a role model as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and that
Yes,
conversation about you know the level of play, I have had that conversation with having a female on a team that I coach, and my response was, if that person is good, if she's good enough, absolutely.
totally.
But we don't. Not just going to make an exception because that person's a female. She's a female.
Of
That's
course.
not something that I can stand behind. Um,
Hmm.
but if we're talking about creating a place for more females to play, that they want to where they want to play, and that gets more females playing, then absolutely, let's do it.
Hmm.
Let's do
Hmm.
it 10 years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear more from
Mhm,
the NXL about it. I think they're going to test some of it out at World Cup, maybe on one of the days. So we'll get to see the skill level and see where everyone's at.
mhm.
Yeah. I know. I'm excited. World Cup is
Yeah.
only a couple weeks away. I think we're exactly 2 weeks out from World Cup right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta say, I gotta give this girl, Janaya, a little shout out. I was just out in New Jersey, and Anthony Vitale sent me a message. Was like,
Mhm,
"Hey, you're gonna be at LLP, this Long Live Paintball, this weekend. There's this girl we wanna scout her, and can you go watch her and see how she plays?" So, the team I was coaching, we had a field to ourselves, and we actually only had 8 players. So
mhm,
Janaya was with one of her friends. I invited them both to come play with us and run some drills and do some 5-on-5 points. And it's like, damn, she's a baller. Like, she's
awesome.
pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely needs some work, but fundamentally everything is crisp, really
Mhm,
good. She was running down the Dorito side, getting into the 50s, shooting people. I was like, okay, all right, she can ball.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where have you been? Why doesn't anybody know about you?
mhm,
Especially with the women's Team USA thing.
mhm,
I guess I was under the assumption that I was aware of all of the good female paintball
mhm,
players
mhm.
in the country, but that's not the case. I
Hmm.
think there's more of them than we might think.
But yeah,
Um,
you heard of Michelle, right? Michelle, she just
yeah,
trained her. She's about to be running
she's
around.
coming for it. Yeah,
Dude, we got to
yeah,
get Michelle aware. Like, let's get her on a team and get her to these tournaments and have her start dominate. We need more YouTubers in paintball. Let's just put
yeah,
it
for
there.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and people who love the game, spreading awareness. Like
Mhm.
Michelle is an amazing person that we would love to have in the community. That'd be amazing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. So let's see. Where were we in the timeline? I think we were
Or
talking
World
about
Cup.
World Cup.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So World Cup ends. What did it look like? How did you handle the team after the event, losing on Sunday? You know, what did that look like, and what was, you know, set into the off season?
Yeah. That was a terrible feeling. That's just like the worst feeling. You don't know whether to be mad, or I didn't know whether to be mad or cry or just be, pissed or disappointed. I mean, I guess I was like a culmination of all of those things. Um, I definitely needed some time by myself to like digest what just happened or didn't happen. You know, what I could have done to make a different, have us come to a different outcome. I mean, I thought about that for a long time. I mean, honestly, that plane ride home, it sucks when you lose on Sunday. It
Mm-hmm.
is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that could be worse is if you're driving in a car all the way to California. Just like
Yeah.
just you
Facts.
just you and your thoughts and just like all the disappointment. But um yeah, so got home and I was really actually sad because that might have been the only tournament I ever got to coach as in the pro division. I thought about that a lot. That might have just been it. You want to be it's amazing to be, Fran said this to me. He said, it's amazing to be first, but you also don't want to be the last. So, I thought about that a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Situation would have it where Todd would leave the team, and then they would make me the head coach, and that was another flood of emotions and elation. And then it turned into, this is like, seriously, I'm the coach of the Los Angeles Ironmen. What am I get how what am I going to do? And not what am I going to do, but how am I going to do this now the way that I want to do it, and because my style is very different than Todd's. And then thinking of being able to think about that and think about how that was going to happen. And then also thinking through what the off season is going to look like, because you have to be realistic and thinking that, like, there might be players who are not going to who are not going to want to be on the team next year. And when I thought about that, I really hoped that what Todd really had like created in that, and then basically handed to me on a silver platter, in some regard, like, that team atmosphere would still be alive, and the confidence would still be there. And amazingly, it was. So that gets me like through the anxiety of like, what's my team going to be like next year. Thinking more about it from a team aspect than me. Still wanting the team to succeed, and how I was going to help build that, and also still be still be myself and be who I was, and then trying to navigate that, because there is a difference in the style of coaching that Todd has and I have, and it's taken the guys, I think, some getting used to, for sure. Todd can be very very long in his thought process of what he specifically wants to see out of certain plays, and can talk the players through those things in an amazing and articulate it in an amazing way, partially because of the experience that he can draw on of actually being a player at that level, playing with those types of players. And I am very different in that I am not able to provide, or I don't provide as much direction when it comes to anything after the break-ish, like the second and the third and the fourth move. That's on the player. I trust them to be who they are, and I trust them to to be the player that came to the team and not try to put them in a box of do X, Y, and Z. So the guys getting used to that, I think, took a little bit of time because they didn't have maybe as much direction as that Todd used to provide. So there was that leading up to, the first tournament of how is that going to, what type of results are we going to get from my different style of being a coach?
Yeah, and it opens opportunity for players to step up on the team and help with the secondary moves. Someone like John Jackson coming from the AC camp, I'm sure he's heavily involved. You definitely have a lot of smart players. Nick Sloviak has been around for a long time, has been on some amazing organizations, plays at a really high level. You have players that can help with that kind of stuff. So again, kind of back to what I was saying of just have everyone do what they do best. And that's how you have a successful team. That's the best way to have a successful team.
Yeah, but it is still my responsibility to put it all together in a way where it makes sense across the field. You can't just have everyone in their silos doing their own individual things, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely not.
So there's that aspect of it that I really had to challenge myself to be able to see that, and then talk the guys through it in a different way. So what I thought would help me do that and help the team do that is implementing 3-day practices, where on Friday or that Monday, actually the first tournament we did a Monday, but we would play on the weekend. And then the third day was a drill day, break down the field, lane, what did we learn from playing the field the first weekend? I mean, I think we can all say that what we learned that first weekend sometimes doesn't translate into the second weekend, because you learn sometimes what not to do first.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So implementing that, I think, that helped too. And it gave me an extra day to learn myself. So when we were in situations where I had to change things, that I could change things. And we got to, the players and I got to have that two-way communication. And I could learn to call plays off of them, and they could have an extra day to figure out what they wanted to do on the field.
Yeah, and it's all about that cohesion as well, them giving you good information so that you can make good decisions as a coach. And then that definitely is a big hurdle to jump, is, seeing it through their lenses as well, and really understanding their process out there. And thankfully you've played quite a bit, so you do understand that as well. Obviously the pro level is a little bit different, but I mean, really, when you're watching it from the sidelines, it's not rocket science. You're like, okay, we got to make these moves. We got to start doing this, and make things happen. And that all comes from that connectivity as a unit, you guys all sharing information together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So heading into this next event, actually, I want to talk about something that I picked up on that you guys were doing. You guys were having Zoom meetings.
Oh yeah.
With the team.
Yeah.
And I think that's a brilliant thing. I don't think a lot of the teams utilize that time, right? What was your reason for getting the team together and having Zoom meetings before events and things of that nature? Sorry if that was supposed to be a secret, but you have players putting it on the gram, so I don't think it was much of a secret.
Yeah. No, not a secret at all. There are things that happen during, well, one, it's just to connect, to see each other's faces, be like, hey, what's up? What have you guys been doing for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever? We're gonna Di's releasing this new gun. Nobody posts anything on the internet, kind of that kind of stuff. So yeah. And if you do, take it down real quick, otherwise we're in trouble. But I think it's just important to connect face to face. And if you can't do it really next to each other, then on Zoom is really the best way. So yeah, it's just for connectivity. And then if we have to talk about something that's important to talk about, and I want to tell the guys to their face about something, then we use Zoom for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I don't want to put it in
I think
text.
Zoom's
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think to get the team to just kind of connect and be together and talk about the upcoming event and everyone's intentions and your guys' goals. It's really
Mhm.
crucial. Really
Mhm.
crucial. Yeah.
And then also just
So
like make jokes and do stuff like that too.
yeah, of course, it's team chemistry, and like Tyler said, building that cohesion. It's so important to that. So how are you guys going to be preparing for World Cup? We're going to have the layout dropping tomorrow. So actually, by the time people listen to this, the layout will be dropping today, Wednesday. So yeah, what's it looking like for you guys?
Yeah, so we're gonna prepare like we've been. We're gonna have 3-day practice. We kind of, I think, as like SoCal teams, we drew the short stick because we're all playing each other in a
Totally.
bracket,
Yeah.
and then we're like looking for teams to practice against, which I need to get better at that for sure. Like just scheduling up people or what, other teams or whatever. So we're gonna have 3-day practice. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're gonna play the Hunters, which are like legitimate divisional team. They play
They
against
are.
some of the
Yeah,
pros out
absolutely.
here and give them good games. So we're gonna,
Mhm.
do our best to use that time.
Ryan swears they're like the best team in the world. I think Ryan is scared of the Hunters. He doesn't stop talking about how good the Hunters are. I've never gotten to play against them, but if you just listen to Ryan, and I'm talking about Greenspan, just listen to Ryan talk. They deserve a pro spot today.
Yeah. So definitely legit, and we're gonna have our Saturday dinner at Doug's house. Snoop Dogg, he's our cook, so
Snoop Dogg.
that's
Shout out to Dougie.
that's our time to connect as well. And then
Nice.
yeah, I'm interested to see the layout. I always love seeing the layout. I always love just like looking at it and trying to draw things and picture things and create whatever I can create just out of that. And then we're going to go to Florida early. We're going to practice ML Kings and the Russians the second weekend. And then we'll be there for the tournament. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what type of importance do you put on just running drills versus playing points? Do you have one method that you prefer more?
Sure. So I feel like, so when it comes to certain like shots off the break that we're going to need to hit, like, yeah, we need to run drills to do that kind of stuff. I think to like, get the cohesion back, doing the like the 2-man operation drills are really important. Like those types of drills, yes. And then the 3-on-3s I think are super important as well, because I feel like that's what the game the points come down to.
Totally.
And
Scramble ball.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, every 3-on-3, it's like, if we can get it down to that, like, I feel like we can never be beat. So that's the goal. I know, Tyler, sometimes you're like 45. I'm like 33. Like I want to
Project 33.
Yeah.
Project 33. Yeah,
There
I'm
you
down
go.
with that.
Yeah. Corey Hall.
Heck yeah.
Yes. But
And Marcelo. You got him right here.
Oh, she knows.
Yeah.
She knows what she just did.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I guess
Corey's gonna have to win a world championship on the Ironman in 33 before he can claim 33. Just saying, maybe 2, maybe back to back. Then he can wear 33 on the Ironman and own it.
Okay. You can talk to him about that. I'll leave that to you guys. Yeah. So
I was gonna say we could play a round of golf too, but
that's true.
I beat him on the golf course. I mean, it just hasn't been good for 33.
Oh, you guys, he's gonna be livid when he sees you.
I know he's definitely a better golfer than I am. I don't know what happened one day that we went. I got lucky. I got super lucky. I was like hitting the best I've never hit that well again. And he like was having a really bad day.
That's the thing about golf is one day you're like, I'm so good at golf.
I thought I figured it out. I thought I figured it out. I was like, I was so excited.
Yeah.
The very next day it was just trash. Like, man, okay.
It's a brutal game. It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Sorry though for cutting
no
you
worries,
off. We were
no worries.
talking about the best drill, 33.
Yeah. The best drill. So like the emphasis, like which is more important. I mean, I think they're like equal elements of what makes you like successful. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I really like them to play points because I really like to play points because I want to be in the most, or I want us to be in different situations multiple times, over and over and over, be in a different situation. Then you can learn more, as long as you're taking it in and you're letting yourself learn instead of be frustrated with what just happened. Then I think points are really important as well. But there's like an element of running drills that is important as well, because like what I said, those games come down to a 3-on-3, or the 2-man op thing is a thing. When you've got to like 2 guys working together, amazing, like really, really well, and just dominate 3-on-2, like, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
And losing is just as valuable, if not more valuable, than winning, in my opinion. Like, you have to know how to lose up, lose forward, lose in the right direction. If you're losing and getting frustrated and it's tearing things apart, then we have a wrong outlook on this whole process in the first place, because the losing is pivotal. You learn a tremendous amount and can really bounce off of that in a big way if you do it in the right direction. If you're just winning all the time, it could corner you and actually stifle you. You don't want to be winning all the practice points. You want to be losing a good portion of those so you can learn.
Yeah. Otherwise you show up to the event and see something you haven't seen yet and you lose. Lose. Those are the games you lose. Yeah. That's why it's, when you're setting up your practices, and this is something for all teams out there, all divisional teams.
Yeah.
It's important to be strategic in how you book your teams, get a team that plays slow, get a team that plays fast, have teams that play different styles and approach it with that in mind, because you're going to learn different things from both of those weekends or both of those days, however you break it up.
Totally. So when you were playing, Nikki, what was your jersey number? Did you have a jersey number?
My jersey number was, I had 2. I had 5 and I had 12.
Oh, whoa. There we go. Shout out to 12. Okay, so
shout out to 12.
What was the significance of those numbers? It's something that I'm going to start asking the guests when they come on, if they had a jersey number and the significance of that number for them.
Yeah, so 12 I used like all through like high school playing sports. That was just my number. Awesome. And 5, I want to say like there wasn't much significance behind 5. I'm trying to think if like there was a baseball player that was number 5 that I chose it off of, but I don't.
Maybe be short 5. Maybe.
I think she's been playing longer than be short, actually.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm serious.
Yeah, I know. I think you're right.
Yeah, but Shorty was one of my favorite players for sure.
Yeah,
so
he's such an animal.
That sounds good. I like.
There we go.
That sounds good. Nice.
Yeah. We'll just go.
Shout out to Short. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also we have some questions from the PTG world.
Okay.
Thank you everybody out there for constantly tuning in with us. We want to definitely dive into some of these with you.
Absolutely. But first, the question to lead the way is going to be our iconic question. We have partnered with Quinn Nadu. Are you familiar with him, Nikki? Quinn, he's kind of like revamped the propaintball.com website. He's been doing a ton of awesome articles. And he has this portion of his brand called Iconic Paintball, and they're going to be doing a bunch of iconic awards at the end of the year, which is pretty cool. And he just is doing a lot of really cool marketing type things for the game, and it's fantastic. So he's been asking a question to each of our guests. His question is: you got the opportunity to learn and study under some of the best paintball coaches the game has ever seen, like Shane Pastana and Todd Martinez. With such differing styles between those two, how do you think that helped in developing your coaching style?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that
it's an iconic question. It
really
because
is.
It's an iconic
question.
It
is
really
amazing.
Is. Yeah. For me, I try to pay attention to what works, what I see works from my lens, which is not the same lens as everyone else, and then what I can adopt myself as well with my own style. It's kind of like Marcelo, what you're talking about with like the raw coach or the inspiring speech coach. Like I tried all of those things and I failed miserably. I did. And I think the guys would agree. So
I want to hear one of these speeches.
so
That would be legendary. Can we get a speech? Can you give us a speech right now? Come on.
yeah, don't suck.
Get us in. There we go.
Don't suck.
That's it. That's all you need.
I mean, well, that's an iconic answer.
Yeah.
There's a little variation to that I probably shouldn't say that the guys tell me to say to them, but anyways, but then like understanding from that perspective what I can adopt for myself and learn from myself, and then what it basically came down to is just to be myself and to not put myself in a situation where I was trying to give an icon, like give a raw speech or something. I'll let the guys do that. And yeah, just be myself. So
that's the key right there for everyone, just be you out there. Be you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Love that. All right, Ty, you're up. You got a question from the Discord?
Yes, sir. All right. Discord fam, we have Chris Tucker was actually wondering, do you have any the comedian? No, I'm just
like Chris Tucker. I'm trying to see.
Yeah, we got him in the Discord too. It's
it's popping in there. We got a big thing going on.
Or if I know anybody from the field, that's what I try to like. Do I know the person from the field? But yeah.
He's from the Texas area. Shout out to Chris. He's wondering, are there any female paintball players that you've seen on the come up that you think might be able to move their way into that pro limelight as a player? If there's any reads on some new up and coming players that you've seen?
Yeah. I guess the answer to that is at the paintball field or at Victory. There isn't many women who are out there playing. But I think that no, I haven't seen anybody specifically, but that doesn't mean that there aren't, those females out there, those women out there that are working hard every day to pave their own way.
Yeah. And scenario paintball too. I know that you loved playing scenario paintball and are pretty damn good at pump paintball from what I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shooting people on the run with pump.
Yeah, I would have no chance. I'm the worst pump player in the history of paintball, so I know I would get destroyed. But
which again is just so crazy because you have one of the best one balls in the league.
Seriously, with no hopper?
I think it might just
zero hopper.
It might just be the bore. I think the bore was the problem.
I know exactly what you're talking. That's just how pump guns are. Like if you pump them and then have it aimed down, it rolls out of the barrel.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, like you have to. That's the tough part that takes time to get to.
You got to shoot right when you pump.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, you can't rack it.
I'm getting gamed up.
You can't rack it and let it just hang out there. You got to shoot it.
I'm the first one to take advice. I love being a greenhorn, so I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to
rack it and smack it, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's an art form for sure, and I do see a lot of females playing scenario paintball, and maybe the tournaments it'll develop into that, but it's just cool to see a lot more females out there playing the game.
Absolutely. All right, so from Alpha Black, we got a question. What can we do as a community to break barriers or stereotypes and accelerate the growth of female participation in paintball?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that pops to my mind there is inclusion. So you just got to invite them out to play.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Straight up, actually. Yeah. 100%. I've brought some girls out to play a couple times and they've had a blast.
My mom used to kick my ass when I was a kid at paintball, dude. She was an animal. She was an absolute animal. Mariana, I'll never forget all those times you shot me in the fingers. Dude, when I was like 11 or 12, my mom and me would go play all the time, and she was an animal. I mean, I had no business being on the same field with her. She was just destroying me.
So funny. That's awesome.
She'd experienced the pain of childbirthing, so
exactly. She made me pay. She made me pay. Oh man. Let's see. We got CM Harry. I got a couple questions for Nikki. Is there anything you wish the sport was more inviting for females that are trying to play,
Mhm.
Are you going to be coaching in the WNXL? So we'll just start out with those.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one, more inviting for them to play. I mean, I feel like, just like Marcelo said, gun's a great equalizer. You just got to do it.
Mhm.
You got to like challenge yourself to do it and do it. And then, no, I don't see myself in the women's league. Like I said before, like I want to be in the NXL with the guy, with my team. So that's where I'm at.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. You're committed. This is actually probably the most exciting question of the show, so I hope you're ready for this.
Okay.
It is from Rounder.
Okay.
Now you know who
What's
that
up,
is.
Jordan?
Shout out to Jordan.
Yeah.
How many times have you bunkered Fran?
Oh my God.
This is the only question that matters.
A lot, it sounds
A lot?
like. She's bunkered him.
Maybe just a handful.
Maybe just a
So definitely 2 hands. Definitely.
I love it.
That's awesome that
love
you guys play pretty often?
No, not as often as we used to, but we certainly play. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Love to hear that.
Yeah.
That's really, and Rounder was also asking, what does the Iron Man shield mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, right now it like in paintball it means everything. So it's grit, it's commitment, it's determination, it's being resilient, it's challenging yourself. And it's something that I think about like almost every day. I mean, I think about paintball and being the Ironman's coach and just like, what am I going to do to be better the next time every single day?
Love that.
Yeah.
Do you,
Yeah, absolutely.
from CM Harry as well, do you guys have any say in the Ironman anodizing for the M3s and how they do any of that?
No, sir, we do not.
Yeah. Okay. I think he was trying to lean the scales with the questions here. And Shadow also is wondering, what is your favorite scary movie? It's almost Halloween time. We got the scary movie question.
Did you guys go see the new Halloween movie?
I haven't.
Mm-mm.
Have you guys seen the old Halloween movies?
Oh yeah.
Nikki, have you?
No, I'm not a scary movie person. I get scared, and I have nightmares.
Same with my wife. Yeah, she does not like it at all.
It's so good.
I can't. I'm too much of an empath too, that I will be in that dream and I will be getting murdered and I will wake up in like a sweat and just not good. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shoot. Sorry for interrupting. I assume you don't have a favorite scary movie then.
No, I do not. But I do have a favorite Halloween candy, and that's candy corn.
That was it. Okay. That was a question from Lil G from the Bean.
Okay.
That was one of his questions.
Okay.
There you go. Candy corn.
Yeah.
Candy corn?
Yeah.
Are you a serial killer? Nobody likes candy corn. What the hell?
No, but if you eat, and I probably eat it like a serial killer too, because it's like the color and then the next color, then the next color.
Oh, they have different each little layer. You get each layer.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, each layer. I think they're all the same flavor, right? Or
I
they're different
know.
flavors?
I think they're all the same flavor. It's
I've never studied.
Butterscotch flavor. It's all food coloring and preservatives, anyways.
Yeah.
Just sugar, straight sugar.
It is.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Halloween is really good. So I don't like scary movies either.
Uh-huh.
I really don't. But Halloween is like it's like Christmas movies, but for Halloween. You know, it's seasonal. It's so good. I love the Halloween saga, and this is the first one they've done in a long time. So I was pretty pumped. Yeah.
Nice.
It does look good. It does look
yeah,
good.
for sure. It was fun. It was fun. Okay. Question from Paul from DMG. Favorite pro player of all time, and who did you most look up to?
Oh, that's Pops. We got Pops in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite player of all time. Who did I look up to? So who did I look up to? It's more than one person, obviously. I mean, it's more than one player. It's the players that taught me how to play paintball. So it's the Dave Baines, Neil Eberly, Glenn Takamoto, like those guys that really supported me and taught me how to play and held me accountable for playing, and was like, made me be just as determined as they were. And then favorite player of all time. This is probably going to sound like pretty corny or whatever, but it's definitely Brandon.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally understand. I mean, the
How
kid
could it
is just
not?
phenomenal
Yeah.
on so many
Absolutely.
levels.
Yeah, he's an
He's not a
animal.
kid anymore. He just turned 25.
I know.
Yep.
He's not a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a kid.
Yeah.
I messaged him. I was like, dude, you're welcome to the old man's club. You're on the 25.
Yeah.
30's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
That's
like,
funny.
no. Yeah.
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 Nice. All right. T, you're up.
Let's see. Alex Cooper, who was a big inspiration for you to pursue a paintball career? I would assume it would be a few of those guys that you just mentioned there.
Yeah. And inspiration, I think part of it's like self-inspiration too, to like challenge myself to do something that I didn't know that I could do or not, or I didn't know like what the outcome would be.
Yeah.
So
it's tackling those, those fears and paintball. I mean, when I first started, I was legitimately like scared, I was just a kid, I was like, don't get bunkered, don't want to get annihilated. But as you get into the game, you lose those fears and you're able to attack different goals in the game, which is really fun to do.
Yeah.
Totally. All right. I have just one more question from Callan, Inspired Paintball. Do you think this is interesting? I've never thought of this actually. Do you think there's enough gear designed specifically for women, or is there anything you would suggest or have an idea for?
Yeah. So, I mean, paintball pants in and of themselves are like not made for women, obviously. They just don't fit our bodies the way that our bodies are. They're uncomfortable. I mean, for me, they were always uncomfortable. They always were like big in the wrong areas, but then not big enough in the other areas. I definitely think that the like the jogger and like the soft pants that are being made now are better suited for like women. But I definitely think that there's like opportunity there for sure. And and if now there's going to be this NXL Women's League, there might be also, a bigger need for it as well.
Sure.
But yeah, and like thinking of that even further, it's like, do I think anybody doesn't play because the gear's uncomfortable? Probably not, but it would be nice that you feel comfortable in your gear.
Totally.
Like
Yeah.
that would be nice.
Yeah.
So,
when you feel good, you play good. I know for me as a paintball player, when I'm feeling like my gear's on point, I definitely am going to play a lot better.
Yeah.
100%.
And Alex Cooper actually was also wondering, who is one of your favorite coaches in paintball? Maybe somebody that you look up to, and maybe inspired to, pick their brain or use their tactics. Someone that you look up to in paintball as a coach.
Yeah. So Todd, obviously, somebody that I learned a lot from. When Rusty was, the dynasty coach and he was around, we could have those tactical conversations, the predicting conversations. He has I think we kind of have a similar style of what we do, but we never really share. It's kind of like one of those things, like, you keep yours, I'll keep mine. But you want to talk about it, okay, let's do that. I really like the I think, Marcelo, you talked about this, the Russians' approach of just filming just your team and not the other team, so players can learn from watching themselves play. I definitely know that that's something that I adopted from them. When we watch games, it's like, let's watch ourselves. Even if we win, even if we lose, let's stop it and let's be like, hey, what was going on there? Talk me, talk me through what was going on there. And it might be just like a simple thing, but I think it's a really important thing.
I think it's so important. Yeah. It's imperative that you get the guys together and watch the games that you're playing as a team. I mean, win or lose, after you play a match that night, you should all gather up and watch that game. It takes 45 minutes or whatever it takes, but it is so valuable. because what it's going to do is produce a ton of good conversation. You're going to get a lot out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Film is one of the most important things in sports. It just is, because while you're playing any sport, any game, but especially paintball, it seems you lose track of time. You really do. And so you might think you're looking a certain way for a couple seconds when really it's 20 seconds, or, you might truly believe that you didn't do something that when it's on film, you just got to say, oh, wow, I did. And it resonates with you and you can fix it. It removes the arguing. It removes the debate. It's pretty straightforward, makes it a lot easier to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Archie was saying it on the episode we did with him, is like paintball is the great truth teller, and especially when you watch the video and you're like, he's dead on. It really does. It tells the truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that it also does something like pretty unique where it takes the ego out of the conversation too, or it has
Yeah.
100%.
ability to take the ego out.
100%.
Yeah.
Again, there's like nothing you can argue, I mean, if you don't remove the ego, you just look like a big jackass. It's like, dude, it's right there, man. What do you mean? It's right there.
Yeah.
I wish we were able to have even more film. Got to give Vic a major shout out, because he really hooks us up at our practices. We're able to go back and watch all of our footage, and I'm so thankful for that. But if we had stuff like that every time we step on a paintball field, like, pro athletes in other sports, they have access to all that. They can dissect what their movements are and as frequently as they want. And for divisional players, I know it's a really tough thing for them to be able to get film of themselves and go back and watch it. But really, if you guys can start doing that, it's going to help tremendously. You can have good conversations with each other. You can watch your film yourself, and you'll see for yourself what you did right and wrong, and you're going to know what to do to change it.
Yeah.
I guess the conversations could go either way. You could have really good conversations, or the team could like implode and people, but you're gonna know where everything stands, at least.
That's true.
Yeah, it's hard though. I don't know, from what I have seen with that kind of film where it is just yourselves, like, if the structure is right, and I guess you're right, Ty, because I've definitely been in meetings as well, and you've been there with me, Ty, where we're watching game footage on Go Sports, and the team's in a huge argument about stuff. But if you have the structure, which is, the Russians were just so smooth in how they did everything. It's very simple. No one else talks. When whoever gets shot, whoever makes a mistake, you pause it. That person says what happened, how they can fix it, and you move on. There's no one else gets to interject and put salt on the wound. It's, we're going to learn. As long as we come up with a solution, we can move on, and you give the player the chance to do that first. If the player says, I don't know what I could have done differently, then okay, you can bring in dialogue from other people. But otherwise, no one's attacking anyone. It's very, just straightforward. It's business, it's business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Nikki, you have been amazing. Thank you for everything you do in paintball, and for the 25 amazing years of paintball that you've been playing. And we can't wait to see you for another 25 in the game and coaching as well. And we wish you luck at World Cup, and can't wait to see you very soon.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to make
you.
sure you plug any of your sponsors or anybody you want to give thanks to. Go ahead and do some shout outs.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, the thanks obviously to Todd, and then to Dave and Chris at Die, Fran always. And then, the park too. I got to say thank you to the park being there and people playing at the park. So the customers and the players actually come and support the park is really important to us as well. It helps us help them in a way. So we're super grateful for that. My kinman, who's always really been supportive too of like me being a coach, supportive of the park as well. Yeah. Thanks.
He's a legend. Hinge man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, we'll see
Alrighty,
you.
Nikki.
Okay,
we'll
cool.
see you very soon.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Yep. See you soon. I'll see you this weekend.
There we go.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Peace.
All right. That was another amazing episode. We are so thankful to have Nikki on the show. She really shed a lot of great insight. Nikki has been around for such a long time, just an absolute dominator. 25 years of experience, both playing, understanding how to run fields, being around some legendary players. Nikki truly understands what it takes to lead an organization, and anytime we're not playing against the Ironmen, I will be rooting for them as well. Definitely a fan, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you guys would like to support, you guys can head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the Patreon link, get access to the Discord, and we'll see you in there.